Hey everyone, welcome back to the Get Real podcast with Jeff and Liz Johnson. Unfortunately, Liz is not here today, but I got a better stand-in, just don't tell Liz, Daniel, our sales manager at the Johnson team. So we're going to talk today about what's going on in the market, current market stats, the Bank of Canada in non-interest rate increase today. That was a tongue twister. And but I'll let Dan, you'll introduce everything because he knows the data. So give it to us, Daniel.
All right, well, February was a better month. If you're a seller or buyer, it was not bad, right? A little better news for sellers, in my opinion. We saw sales, they were just under 5,000 units for Toronto. That was the first time in a while, I think almost dating back to June 2022, right? We had average price just under 1.1, I think it was 1095 across the GTA. So again, that was the highest average price that we saw dating back again to June 2022.
Which is pretty awesome, actually.
That's pretty good. That's great news for sellers. I think there's a multitude of reasons of why that's happening. Maybe inventory is playing a part into that as well, but a lot of resiliency among buyers who were waiting, they were waiting, and now it's just kind of, this is what they're dealing with. So with the inventory being where it's at, and rumblings of competition and multiple offers coming back to the market, a lot of people got off the sidelines, right? There are still great deals. There are multiple offers happening, but it's not what we know multiple offers to be. It's not the same beast.
It's not the same. And let's just speak about that for a minute. So we have a large team, right? So last month, how many people on our team were in multiple offers?
Seems like almost anyone who did an offer.
Isn't that amazing? Right? We think about that. Like the smallest price, something that was on, I know Mark had something that was on the market for like a month, and then all of a sudden the buyer was thinking about it for like a week, and all of a sudden they decided there's somebody registered an offer, and then all of a sudden there's like 3-4 offers for the property, which is
exactly
mind-boggling.
So the listings are getting multiples, but just like that, if there's something has been sitting, people show it, so we know when there are showings happening, they'll get a notice if something gets registered, and now all of a sudden, well, if they're interested, I think we're interested. So we're seeing that almost a chain reaction happening. So if those guys miss out, I think they're going to the next best property that comes listed, and now all of a sudden there's new eyes on it, there's old eyes on it. Now you have 3-4 offers again.
That's interesting. But what do you think causes something that's been on the market for like say 30 days, all of a sudden somebody's interested and they register the offer, like you said, we get notified, and then all of a sudden there's 4 offers. What do you think stops those buyers from coming forward sooner?
I think it was just, it's coupled with inventory, and they've probably lost out somewhere before. So if they have that waiting mentality, we're going to wait for the price to drop. Well, the price hasn't been dropping, especially on these entry-level products. And I mean entry-level by, a 1-bedroom plus den or a smaller townhome. Again, I hate to say that's entry-level because the costs are still expensive. But those type of homes, they think, well, if they need to drop a little bit more for us to get in, we'll find that deal. Where I think fact of the matter is they are at a deal price right now. We've had enough time to couple or time in the interest rates that have happened, 400 basis point increases. They've came into the market in terms of the approvals.
Right.
So if they're going to come priced into the market itself, and you're waiting for that drop, that might be so far away that, you're going to keep missing out on opportunities in the interim. So those guys are going to come back to that 30-day property when there's an offer because, that's one less on the market now.
Okay, so what if you had the buyer right now that's kind of contemplating, what kind of advice would you give them?
I always, regardless of what type of market you're in, if you can, if you have the means to purchase, and you have the desire, and you have, actual reasons why you need to be in that property, that's enough reason. You can't, if you're trying to time the market, it's impossible. If you're waiting for this or this, and all these things to come together at once, very hard to do. So if you have the means and you're approved, and you have an actual want and need to get into a certain type of property or area, what's holding you back? If you're waiting for something magical, I would just kind of suggest put yourself in a better position.
Yeah, and exactly. And the way I look at it too is you're either paying your mortgage, you're paying somebody else's mortgage, and in 5 years you have appreciation, and you also have mortgage pay down. I was just looking to buy something with my son, because obviously most parents are probably helping their son in this environment. I think they transfer wealth from the baby boomers to their kids now. I'm a Gen X going to my kids. I was looking at a $600,000 condo, and the mortgage rate is like 30. The mortgage with the interest and payments was like early $3,000s a month. So maintenance and taxes were probably about $4,000. I was looking at, my son's got a good job. He's wanting to be an accountant, so he's in an accounting firm. And so I was thinking, I said to him, so you live home for free. You get $1,000 if you want to rent it. It's going to cost you $1,000. But he didn't understand the depreciation. And I did the depreciation at 3% a year. That in 5 years was like $96,000. And I said to him, so if you put $12,000 away, $60,000, where can you make that kind of money?
Mm-hmm.
You almost doubled your money.
Yeah.
Right. So, and again, we were talking to somebody that came into the presentation for us, and what did he say? Nick said that the biggest buyers are what age range? Is it 33 to 44?
Yeah, it was kind of shocked. I think it was like 28 to 38, something like that. And he's very high up level at RBC, so he sees these approvals coming in and where what the age group is. So to see that, I mean, it does make sense if you really sit down and think about it. 28, anyone 45 probably has a home and kids. They're not gonna up and go right now. So it's almost anyone getting into the market is, maybe a first-time home buyer, but they are going to be between that, let's just call it 28 to 40 price range.
But I also think that when you look at people that own houses, if you're a family, like since I've been in real estate in 23 years, 69 to 71% of all Canadians own a house.
Yeah.
So I don't believe what they're saying that everyone's going to just all of a sudden become renters, because rents are right now, I just mentioned that condo with rents for like $3,000 a month. And then, people are going to help their kids out, because people that own a house understand the value. They understand the price appreciation.
Yeah.
So they're going to help their kids out. And we're actually going to do some kind of webinar or something on how parents can help their kids out and protect their money and stuff in future dates. But if you think about the fact that these people are wanting to buy, it's you're either paying the mortgage or you're paying rent and paying somebody else's mortgage. I think now is the time that people should get in. Probably a 1 or 2 year interest rate, but I think fixed interest rates, and then you can change it and do something better. Interest rates are never going to be as low as they were. They're probably always going to be around 3.5 to 4.5. That's just where they're going to probably be.
It's a natural place for them to be.
Yeah.
Right. If inflation, they get it back down to that where they want it, around 2. Historically, mortgage rates are going to be a point and a half above the inflation rate, and that's healthy. It's a healthy environment. So with that being said, they held the rates today. Obviously, Bank of Canada met today. So if you're watching this right now, there was an announcement today made that they're going to hold the rates where they are for the time being. There's going to be repercussions of that, I think, against our dollar, but that's a whole nother story. So looking forward, Bank of Canada's trend for 2023 is, a slight hold. There might be an increase or two, and I think their projection has changed from end of 2023 where they can start decreasing. That doesn't look like it's going to be the same forecast. It's probably going to be Q1, Q2, 2024, where they start. But again, when they start decreasing, it's going to be aggressive. They're not going to do it, 25. They're going to be a little more aggressive with that, because inflation will be handled. CPI reports, employment reports, that's what they really wait on. It's lagging. And then with what's going on in the U.S. right now, unfortunately, if we don't kind of match their aggression, one way or the other, our economy takes a hit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of like, as much people, they love the Americans or not, but we're cousins, and what they do, we're very, very similar in a lot of ways. Speaking about inflation and in interest rates, so what do you think is the long-term effect? Like, people were waiting for interest rates. So today we've got a pause or not doing anything. What do you think that's going to do to the market?
So it's a very tough conversation. I was speaking to an agent the other day, and I just think with the way inflation is right now, it's going to be difficult for those people who, okay, so let me back for a sec. There's a stat that came out, and it was something like nearly 50, again, I don't know exactly, it was 50 or 60% of people in Ontario own their home already outright without a mortgage. So in my opinion, that's a huge number. Let's just call it 50%.
Yeah.
So 1 in 2 homes are outright owns. So that's, in my opinion, those guys are never going to come to the market. Where would they go, and why would they sell right now? Yes, they're sitting on equity, perhaps, but if they are mortgage free and now they're thinking, if I downsize, I'm going to take on they'll see their payment is small, but then when you couple with 5% on a fix, or even on a 3-year fix, so let's just say 4.8, 4.9, they're not going to take that fee on. They'll just keep their home.
Yeah.
Right. So to get back to what your question originally was what this hold is going to do, for forecasting the future. I think it does come back to inventory. It's going to make a lot of people not need to be sellers anytime soon. And unfortunately, if whatever your approval is today you're going to have to deal with what the prices are. If you're approved and you're thinking, oh, it's going to go down a little bit, I'll wait for 5%, 10% drop. It's going to be, I just don't see where that drop can feasibly come from. There's not much competition for a seller right now. A lot of sellers don't need to go anywhere, right? And people who own their home everyone I've spoken to that actually outright owns their home, they're going to go out in that home.
Yeah, and because again, I've got my neighbor's 94. He's in a backsplit, 4-level backsplit, and he can't get his head around because it's free and clear. He bought his house for $35,000.
Yep.
But he does not want to pay maintenance fees, which again, I think from a quality of life, there's that sense, but there's that old school mentality that they do not want monthly payments.
They don't want it. They haven't had it forever.
Exactly.
The Canadian dream is a detached home.
Yep.
Single family. So they got it. They're in their dream home. They'll live in their dream home until they feasibly can't, right? And then it's like we've seen a lot of people, they don't even sell anymore. It's passed on towards the family. They can't get into that home right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point. And again, 23 years that I've been in real estate, we've always had an inventory problem in Toronto. That's not going to change. Like the Ontario government said, we need 1.5 million homes today, not 10 years now. That's their plan, but we need 1.5 million today just to keep up with the current market. Again, 500,000 immigrants are coming to Canada every year. According to Stats Can, 66% come to the GTA. They need somewhere to live. That's why I think investment properties and buying bungalows, if you can, and making 2 units and things is the way to go. Just as we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to tell the viewers about some of your predictions?
Prediction wise, I think it's 2023 is going to be an interesting year for sellers and buyers alike. I think if you are hearing rumblings of multiple offers and you're hearing, oh, everything's multiple, yes, there is, but I think the saving grace as a buyer is, even on our team, we've had multiples on both sides, listing and buying, but we're still going in with full conditions. We're still getting properties close to or under asking.
Yeah.
Albeit there's 5 or 6 offers on a property. It doesn't mean, it's not the multiples of past. Like pre-pandemic multiples was a different type of beast. You had to be prepared to pay X amount over. When I have multiples now, maybe 3 are under asking and like 2 are close to asking, and that's just the way it's been. So, I just think prediction wise, you can't really believe all the hype with the headlines. If you see massive numbers, oh, the market's down 200% or home sales are down 200%. Yes, home sales are down, but that's just units. So you got to keep things in a small window, small mind frame. If you're looking at a townhome in an area, just focus on that. The big scale is what the big scale is always going to be. So there's a lot of hope for buyers and sellers moving forward.
Yeah, and I think you also have to set realistic expectation. You might have to start off with a condo, but again, if you sit down, you go online, you do a mortgage calculator with the price. The average price has increased 7.6% over the last, since 1969. You're paying a mortgage down, and you're at least building some equity in those things. So don't be afraid to get on the marketing ladder. And I think, to recap some of the things Daniel was saying is that interest rates are kind of paused. And now is, there's the best time to get into real estate was always yesterday. So, if you have a dream of owning a home, but you got to live somewhere, you might as well get on the real estate ladder. Okay, as we wrap this up, thank you all for listening, watching, wherever you're catching this on the Get Real podcast. If you have any questions or comments or need anything or more explanation, anything we've said, please reach out to us at admin@johnson-team.com. That's admin@johnson-team.com. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Take care.